Hello and welcome to the EduTalk series hosted by Biotone EduPartner Program and massage industry experts. With the challenges facing massage schools, students, and practicing therapists during COVID-19, the EduTalk series supports the new norm of virtual learning by connecting you with industry experts who will share their topics and expertise, not only for class discussion, but for career success. Tonight's expert is Cherie who is a renowned business coach, author of Business Mastery, co-author of The Ethics of Touch and Retail Mastery. She is an international workshop leader and the past president of the Alliance for Massage Therapy Education. In 2012, Cherie was inducted into the Massage Therapy Hall of Fame, and we're happy to have her with us tonight. Let's listen and learn as Cherie introduces her knowledge and passion on how to kickstart your marketing to have clients waiting. Whether you are a student or a professional, marketing is vital to your career success. There is a chat box in the bottom nav bar of the screen. Feel free to chat Cherie questions during her talk, which will be answered at the end. Thank you, and with that, I turn it over to Cherie.
Thank you, Donnell. It's interesting because you were talking about kickstarting, and I've always believed in kickstarting. I was a preemie. It's like, I want out. I want into the world. It's like, so coming out and being prepared is really important. And today I'm really going to talk about some of the things you can do while you're still in school to create a client base so that it doesn't take you months after graduation before you start seeing clients. Now, if you're already in practice, a lot of you have not been practicing for several months. So most of this information is really going to also be pertinent to you too. So the first thing is to take a deep breath. Excuse me, when we talk about marketing, most of the time people just get this kind of stone-faced look when I mention marketing. They're like, I'm actually not sure. My computer's high, so I'm not sure if you're really seeing my eyes or not, hopefully, because I've got a big screen computer. It just hit me. I've never thought about this in all the Zoom talks I've done, but take a deep breath and realize that marketing isn't a big bad word. Marketing really is just about sharing who you are, and it's not about convincing people. So I think the first thing is to get your mindset correctly, is to realize that no matter what you're doing, whether you're a massage therapist or no matter what kind of career you're in, who you are and what you're doing, you are a sales and marketing company. So it's not just your hands-on work. But the first thing to do after you've taken that deep breath in and you've realized, okay, marketing is just part of what I need to do, think about what you like to do best in massage. Because what's important is, I've always been an advocate of having at least 2 to 3 target markets when you're in practice. And a target market is a group of identifiable people. Okay? So you start by thinking, well, what do I really like to do the most in massage? And maybe you're not quite clear with that yet, depending on where you're at in your schooling, if you're still in school. But you've probably gotten a bit of a sense of the conditions that you feel comfortable addressing, maybe the kind of types of people that you want to interact with. Massage is a very solitary, lonely business. Even though you're with people all the time, you're not really talking with them. They're not chatting it up. You're supposed to just be there working and being that safe space for them. So think about, well, who do I want to bring in? Who do I want to spend my days with? Okay? So when you do that, those are the people you actively seek. And some people get a little nervous when I say target your markets, because they're like, but Cherie, I want to work on anybody. And well, that's okay to work on anybody. I think it's always a blessing to see who shows up. But where you want to spend your energy and your effort and your money is in attracting the ideal clients for you. So that's what target marketing is. And ultimately, Your target markets will probably depend on the size of the practice that you want to have, the scope of your knowledge. Are you also a dual practitioner? Or are you also maybe an esthetician? Or are you also maybe a personal trainer? So things like that can really change who you're going to want to attract into your massage practice. Also, some target markets are more productive than others. You might have a target market that's really close to your heart, something that you really, it's either a group of people or a kind of condition you want to work on, but it's a small market. Or maybe it's a market of people who can't afford to pay you as much as your normal fee. So that's why you have to have those other target markets that can, handle your bills for you, all right? So create 2 or 3 different target markets, all right? And then once you've done that, you might go, all right, so one of my target markets are people with migraine headaches. Okay. So then you would identify, well, within all the people that get migraine headaches in the world, which one of those would be my ideal client? Okay. And think about that, who they would be, and start asking yourself some of these questions. And I'm also, for those of you who are listening today, and even those after, we'll figure out how to get it to you. I will get you a little worksheet that's called the Target Market Analysis that will really help guide you through figuring all this information out. But in general, for your ideal client, it goes back to, who's your target market, but also who's going to be most drawn to your practice. It's nice to have clients that it's just like, oh, as soon as they meet you and if they connect with you, they're your clients. I mean, that's the great way, instead of having to go out there and convince people or have to go out there and really press hard to find clients. So think about who are some of the people who might just want to work with you. And I'll give you an example. When I was in practice, and I was in Southern California, and please just don't put on your math hats right now. This was in the late 70s, early 80s, and I was the height of the personal growth movement back there. And I was in lots of workshops, personal growth workshops. All I had to do was stand up and share that I was a massage practitioner, and I would be flooded with potential clients on the break, because this was a group of people who was committed to their personal growth, and they knew that massage would also really help them. So it was just, do we connect? Do they have issues and conditions I feel comfortable and confident that I can help them with? And if so, they would be my clients. So, having at least one, what I call easy target market, is really handy. But also think about the environments you want to work with. How do you want to spend your days? So once you've done that, then you do that targeted market analysis that I'm going to send you that sheet for. But that's where you kind of really break it down and figure out, who are these people? What do they do? Where do they shop? What do they read? Now, granted, right now, a lot of this information is out the window because nobody's going anywhere. So some of that might be different, but there's still online things that people still read. There still might be newsletters. There still might be groups that they belong to. So you want to start collecting as much information as you can about these ideal clients. And you can be doing this long before you graduate or long before you're ready to start up your practice. I know there's a lot of therapists that still are not in practice. Either they're mandated that they can't open up their practice yet, or they don't feel comfortable right now. So a lot of you can still be in that same boat. So be thinking about that and all those reasons. And then the next thing is start thinking about, well, how can massage help these people? How can it help them achieve their goals? And not just their physical goals, but maybe there's emotional goals, maybe there's spiritual goals. Maybe they just want to feel good. So find out what it is and think about what you like to do, again, going back to that, and then match those needs up to the benefits. So now it's time to take another deep breath in, because we talked a lot about some of the marketing, the research background part. And a lot of people, that's like homework, and they're not really thrilled and excited about that. So when I tell you the next step to do to kickstart your practice so you'll be ready, and that's create your business plan. Now, in your business plan, the marketing plan is just a segment of that. But make sure you're doing your personal budget, your business budget, and make a list of all the equipment you're going to need. Make a list of the products you're going to want to sell. And just as a hint, we're going to do another thing in a couple of months on retailing. So we'll have more information about that later. So those are some of the things you can start doing. And I would wait till you're at least halfway through your program before starting to do this, because you need to have a sense of what this work really is and how you fit in with this work and what feels really good about this work for you to do. And then for me, the next exciting part is, all right, so what are these steps we can do to get our first clients? Okay. First thing, talk to everybody. Just be a little chatterbox. Let them know you're in school and when you plan to graduate and start your practice. Start telling your friends, start telling your family members. Let people know groups that you're involved in. Because a lot of times we don't necessarily share certain things, especially if they're not complete yet. Well, I'm not a practitioner yet. I'm not licensed yet. But it's still pretty exciting enough that you're in this program to do something that's going to be of immense benefit to the general public. Okay. I recommend, unless there's a local law that prohibits this, is I recommend that you print up interim student massage therapist business cards. And with your phone number and the estimated date of opening your practice. You might even include a special offer on the card, like either a discount on their first massage, or you get a 90-minute massage for the price of a 60-minute massage, or something about a massage and maybe a free product, something along that will give them a little incentive to book when you're ready to book. Now, when I did mention on that card of having a phone number, I highly recommend you have a business phone line separate from your regular cell phone line. Now, what's handy is you can get things like Google Voice, and it's free. I mean, I have 3 business lines, fax line, cell phone, but on my cell phone, I also have a Google Voice number. So that I have my business number, so it's not a problem, but I do a lot of volunteer work. And I didn't do this in the beginning, but I'm starting to do this now for my volunteer work especially. I have my Google Voice number, so that when I'm getting calls from there, it has a different tone and it comes up Google Voice, so I know it's not my friend, so I don't answer like, "Hey Donnell, how you doing?" I'll answer it a little bit more professionally. And those things are free, and I'm sure there's other options other than Google Voice where you could do that. Highly recommend doing it right now. Especially if there's no cost. Like anything else, there's probably cost if you want upgraded features, but at least get that going. Along with that, get a business-oriented website going. Again, it doesn't have to be fancy, but you need to have a website. I know that some of the organizations include the membership organizations include a website that you can build your own website on them. You can either do that or just go online. It's so inexpensive these days and easy to just at least get something up there with your name, and you don't have to have it launched. So it's all ready. It's not live. People aren't going to be able to find it. And then when you're in practice, it's just, you just click a button and everything's ready. And that's the exciting part. You spend all your time doing this work and getting all this done, so that it's just like when that magical day comes, it's like, oh, now I don't have to spend the next 3 months doing it all, because it is all done. So the nice thing also about having a business website is it usually comes with several emails that you can have with it. So you could have it like, mine is Cherie at sonnen-mo.com, but it could be whatever your practice name is, like mine is, and then you'll have that ready, and that could go on your cards. And it could even go on those student massage cards if you had that done ahead of time too. All right. The other thing is your social media pages. When I started with social media, they didn't have business social media pages, which just sounds crazy now. So it's really rough. So, I still have all this on my personal page. And then I have tried transferring everybody over to my business page, and I haven't had a whole lot of luck with that. So I have several different pages. But you want to make sure that on your social media, set your privacy settings so that only friends can see your content. Especially if you tend to post some questionable or crazy things on your website. I mean, on your social media. I've seen some risque things on social media. I've seen some things that are questionable taste, and which is fine for your friends. Your friends, you're outside, you're doing crazy stuff, and you take some pictures, but you don't necessarily want your potential clients or employers to see this. So even those of you who are open up your practice, a lot of people still work part-time for another business. Well, most employers are checking social media before they hire you. They're looking at that before they call you references. So what are you presenting on your social media? And again, create something that you're proud of. But most importantly, create your privacy settings. And here's what I'm going to tell you, the little secret that people don't want. It's not a secret. It's just they forget. So they think that, well, I've got this on social media and only my friends can see this, blah, blah, blah. Well, but if your friend shares that, guess what? The whole world can see it anyway. So that's the one thing that people are not aware of. And as practitioners, it can pose ethical dilemmas. So you just need to be cautious about that. And when we go back to the same thing, like with emails, if you don't have it together to get your website right away yet, and you have an email, Gmail is really popular. And so you can do a very professional sounding Gmail email. So I certainly recommend that. And the other thing to do ahead of time while you're still in practice is start looking for office space. Start looking at options so that so that again, you don't take months to find a place. I wouldn't spend 40 or 50 hours looking, but start looking, finding, neighborhoods, finding areas that look like, oh, this might be a really good place for me to have a practice, or this is how I'd like to do this. Or if you're thinking about working out of your home, maybe I ought to start making those repairs right now that I'm going to need to make my office space in my home, work to be attractive and safe and legal. And then start assembling all you need. Like, assemble your office forms, have all that ready. Have it ready to go so that when you start your practice, there's no big problem. So of course, the other things you can do while you're still a student, you can design and print your marketing materials. You have them ready to go. Especially, the more you can put on them, if you have an address, the better. But if you don't, again, you can create business cards. They're so inexpensive. You can create some of these things, and they don't have to have an address yet. You can get them and change them once you do it. Also, I think you should look at joining some networking groups. Start finding out, what's available. And I'm talking about business networking groups. People in other different professions, that the point is to help provide each other with business leads and support. And then the most important thing is really look at that target market analysis that you're going to do, and then figure out what you can start lining up. For example, if you do your targeted market analysis and you find out that one of the groups you really would like to attract as a client, well, they have a newsletter. So maybe you can write an article for the newsletter, or tips, or get interviewed for their newsletter. Maybe they take advertising. You can advertise in that newsletter. If it's a group that has meetings, whether they do online meetings or live meetings, maybe you can come and speak and either do a demonstration, a massage demonstration, Do something about self-care. Teach people how to do a little bit of self-massage and how to take care of themselves. You'll be booked. And because I am really, really confident that the biggest way you build clients in this practice is for people to see you, get to know you, feel comfortable. Do they click with you or not? They are trusting you with their bodies. And for a lot of people, that's a big step. So if they feel comfortable with you, no matter how it is they're meeting you, and then when it's appropriate and it's time for them to get massage, you'll be high on their list. And what more can we really ask for? So start doing that. And then maybe even start creating some content ahead of time for social media posts. So you have some health tips and quick little tips and resources and things you might have learned or products you might have tried that you like. And, even if you're not selling those things that you think will be helpful to people, have those and have them all written up ahead of time. Have several months worth so that when you're in your practice, especially in the beginning, and you're overwhelmed with all the things you're doing, here you have the stuff and it's already set up. And you can kind of glide through. And it takes so much stress away. And then, of course, finally, send out press releases. And nowadays, most places, local media places, you can just do that online. It's very simple. It's about your practice opening. And you would want to wait to do that, of course, till you have a location lined up. So those are just some of the kind of the quick things that you can do. And it's a lot. And that's why even just talking about it, I'm like, my throat is dry. And that's why it's best to start doing this now and not waiting till it's like, oh my gosh, I'm graduated. I went, I took the NCLEX, I passed, I'm getting my license, and okay, where are my clients? So I would love for you to have clients waiting for you to just, pass that test and actually finalize when they're coming in to see you.
Well, thank you, Cherie. I wanted to jump in and say there are some really good points there. I don't know if you have received chats during your talk. You can see chats on your screen. If there are any you'd like to answer for everyone. And also, please mention how people can get in touch with you if they have questions.
Yeah, it's Cherie, Cherie, at sonenmo.com, and that's SOHNEN-MOE.com. And you'll be sending that out when you send out, right? The
yes. Yes.
Yeah. Let me see. What was my most successful marketing program? One of the best things I did to get clients is I used to do massage workshops. I would do massage workshops, and they were for pairs. They didn't have to be couples, but people had to come in, they could be friends, whatever, but they'd have to come in as two. And I priced them very, very reasonably. And I would do the day, it would be a full day adventure. We could come in, I'd do some movement with them. I would teach them some massage techniques that they could do on each other. We would do lunch, and I kept it very sense-oriented. They couldn't feed themselves; they had to feed each other. And but I also made sure I got my hands on every single person for at least 5 minutes, so they could feel the difference between professional touch versus just friendly, loving touch. I mean, friendly, loving touch is great, but there is a difference, folks. And remember that there is a big difference. I would always get clients from that. So that was one of my best marketing, and it was fun. And I think the more fun that you can have, people always ask me sort of like, what's the best way to market? And I say the best way to market is the thing you'll do, because if you won't do it, it doesn't matter. And so within that, however you can make connections with people is the best way to market. And you have to figure out which ones those are for you. And for me, it was like doing those workshops. I love being in groups. I love doing demonstrations. I always love doing talks. I love doing the the networking business club talks and getting up and doing those things. They're easy breezy. They're 20 minutes. It's like this. Yeah, well, back then we didn't have PowerPoint slides anyway, but it's like you don't have to really, you just have to share your information, share your knowledge, share your concern. And people will get that. They will get when you're talking, if you're talking about massage, for me, I've always kind of dubbed myself, even though not officially this, kind of the massage ambassador, because I'm always talking about massage. Even once I stopped practicing massage, I was always talking about massage. I'd be in line in the grocery stores and I see somebody like, rubbing their neck or their, and I would make a comment. Wow, do you get massage, And they're like, oh no, I haven't really thought about that. And so I would, educate them and, tell them, where to go or start to look to find some local massage therapists. So when something is your passion, people are drawn to it and they're drawn to you. And that's what really counts. It doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, male, female, what you look like. It's that passion, and people will get that. And I can't teach you how to be passionate, but I know you have it. So it's just making sure you connect to it.
Thank you so much, Cherie. And I don't know if you have any last chats that you want to address, but if not, we will wrap it up for tonight. And it sounds like you will be following up with a form to share with the attendees, and yes, that should be coming in a few days. And this session has been recorded. We will be sending a link to the EduTalk with Cherie over the next several days. And so please keep an eye on your inbox. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, and we look forward to having you join us in September when, on September 15th, Cherie D'Ambrogia will be presenting on lymphatic balancing, and on September 29th is part 1 of ethics with Cherie again and Laura Allen. So these should be some really great talks coming up as well. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great evening and join us again.
Bye.